The Department of Public Works is already preparing for winter. The Barnstable Police Department arrests 19 individuals following a lengthy drug investigation. And the Waterways Committee meets tonight. We have details about what's on the agenda. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, July 28th, 2015. I'm Sarah Mannel. The sun is shining and summer is in full swing, but the Department of Public Works is already thinking about winter snow and ice removal. Director of Public Works Dan Santos says his department thinks about the winter all year long.
And we've been spending a lot of time since the end of last winter, which was arguably the worst winter here on Cape Cod, at least in contemporary times, as far as amount of snow and how long it stayed with us and the road conditions and whatnot. So we promised to the town manager and the town council that we would, make sure we did a top to bottom review of our snow and ice procedures and policies to make sure that we're providing the best service we can in bad winter conditions. Now, one of the things that we recognize right off the bat is that from time to time, in this case last year, you're going to get conditions that are just beyond that which you can reasonably handle. It's sort of like getting a hurricane, or other bad weather event or a tornado. That just, these kind of things are traumatic, and they go beyond what your ability to deal with, in a way that people expect all the time. So with snow plowing, it snows 8 inches. It takes a couple of days and we clear it off. And in this case, we had a storm that kept snowing every Monday and kept adding and not melting away, and so it stresses equipment and personnel to a point where you're not providing the service that people expect. And part of that is making sure that we're letting the community know what to expect. So we've looked at, we have a team looking at this. We're meeting regularly to look at what kind of response can the community expect given a certain type of storm. So when there's 6 inches of snow, you can expect the roads will be plowed within so many hours. And when there's 18 inches of snow, it's a different story. So we want to make sure that the community, residents and visitors and businesses, understand what to expect when we get certain snow totals. And what's interesting about snow and ice is that every storm is different. 18 inches of snow might be light, fluffy snow. It might be heavy snow. It might be followed by an ice storm or rain. So it's really, like I've said on this program many times before, it's more art than science in addressing these things. Throughout the year, both during the storms, we have full-time mechanics and garage here. We do all our own repairs. They're doing that and getting them back on the road. And then over the summer, we're doing more of the cosmetic things, replacing parts that we think aren't going to last through the next winter. So that part of it is certainly a year-round activity. But we're also looking at changing out kind of how we view our equipment and buying used equipment. We've just started doing this, buying used trucks that we put plows on and sanders in. We just leave them for that purpose, and those are much less expensive to buy used equipment.
Santos says he hopes the early preparation and improvements to communication will make it easier for both residents and staff when winter rolls around. The Barnstable Police Department, along with the Cape Cod Drug Task Force, makes 19 arrests following an investigation into complaints of predatory drug sales to the homeless population. To learn more, I got a chance to chat with Police Chief Paul McDonald. We share that interview with you now. A very busy week last week for you guys. You guys had a drug bust and in which you arrested 19 individuals.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit about this incident.
Well, this started several months ago. We do have a substantial homeless population in downtown Hyannis. We have a community impact unit that was put together almost 14 months ago to deal with that particular population. They had noticed over several months there were people preying on these homeless individuals. They were selling them narcotics, heroin, cocaine, spice, and sometimes they were even selling them counterfeit products. They were selling soap as heroin. They touched base with our drug unit. Our drug unit touched base with the Massachusetts State Police, because what we're looking for was an undercover operative that we could send into the homeless community to purchase drugs. This is similar to what we did 2 years ago. We did the exact same thing, and that too was very productive. 2 years ago, we arrested 9 individuals for the exact same thing. So this went on for several months because we wanted to identify everyone that was doing it. We identified 19 different individuals who were coming into town and specifically targeting the homeless individuals, some of them who were dual diagnosed, some with mental health issues, and some with substance abuse issues. It's tough enough dealing with the homeless population, but we have individuals out there who are giving them these narcotics that are encouraging this disruptive behavior on Main Street Hyannis. It was a huge problem for us. So with the Street Crime Unit, the Community Impact Unit, and the Cape Islands Drug Task Force, and our drug unit, they went out there. They were able to buy over 30 different purchases from 19 separate and distinct individuals. And then last Thursday morning, we set out with everybody, and were able to identify and arrest all 19 of them. 12 of them we arrested, 5 of them are already in custody, and 2 of them were in a hospital or some other specific unit where we could not get contact with them. So it was extremely successful and should make a huge impact in downtown Hyannis.
And this investigation actually involved multiple towns. How often do you work with other police departments in this type of investigation?
Well, the Cape Island Drug Task Force, we have an officer assigned to that unit, and then just about every other town on Cape Cod also has an officer, at least on a part-time schedule assigned there. Then, of course, we have the Street Crime Unit. We have multiple towns working with our Street Crime Unit. So you are correct. And this was a joint effort from probably 6 of the 15 towns down here, and it went well because individuals come down here. Hyannis is the most attractive spot. If you're going to go out, the bars are here, the restaurants are here. So with that comes a certain element of people who are going to prey on these individuals. So we need the cooperation of all of these different towns to be effective.
One thing that I was wondering while we were discussing some of the charges, what happens when someone is selling a sort of counterfeit drug? Is there a specific charge?
It's the same penalty as if you were selling the product themselves. If you're selling something disguised as heroin, the penalty is the exact same as you're selling heroin itself. It's just like if you went and rob a bank, and if you have a gun, or if you allude to have a gun, but you don't have it, you're still going to be charged with armed robbery. The fact that you're selling this or you're posing this as the actual thing, it carries the exact same offense. So it is substantial. And the reason we use undercover police officers, most of our drug investigations, we use confidential informants to go in and make the buys. And the case takes months and months and months. We want this to happen very, very quickly because we want these individuals off the street by the summertime. So if you use an undercover police officer, you can arrest these people, and you have direct testimony by the police officer himself who actually made the purchase from these individuals.
Yeah, definitely important for an investigation of this nature. Were you surprised that the homeless community reached out for help with this issue?
No, the Community Impact Unit, they've developed a relationship, with the homeless community and with all the social service agents. I think that's what helps them become so effective. The Community Impact Unit, they realize that we're not going to rest that way out of it. I mean, those police officers are the ones that are taking these individuals, to their doctor's appointments. They're taking them to court. They're giving them rides home. They're giving them money. They're giving them bus fare. We have money set aside for these individuals who, if they want to go back to the community they're from, we will give them bus fare. So they have developed a very, very close relationship with this group.
And you can hear from Police Chief Paul McDonald every Tuesday morning on Barnstable This Morning. The Waterways Committee will meet in Town Hall tonight. The committee will vote on mooring appeals. They will hear several proposals for new ramps and discuss vessel storage at Forts Beach. The Waterways Committee meets at 7 tonight in the Selectmen's Conference Room. We'll be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 7 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will check in with the Barnstable Senior Center. We'll chat with Director of Growth Management, Joanne Miller-Buntich. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.